Hi guys, my name is Niall and I'm going to teach you how to do the A2P submission on the CRM GoHighLevel within 30 minutes. Let's hop right in. So as we can see here, I've got a nice Notion template that we're going to follow step by step in regards to keeping track of the process of the A2P application. So first one on the list is loading up the snapshot. You have two options for this one. I am happily going to be providing you the free version that can be found on an extendedly school link. So this is the snapshot right here. Follow that through, follow that template through, provide your information, and they will give you the snapshot. Alternatively, I have built out a full snapshot that will contain the website, the forms, the SMS compliance, the Google Docs, the onboarding forms, everything you need. One click of a button, you just load the snapshot for every single client. The website will be there, the funnel will be there, everything. That's a one-time payment of $10. So let's hop right in. So this is obviously the template. It's very similar to the two that we've just spoken about. And the first thing that we need to do is obviously fill in all of the business information. So we're going to head down over here onto the settings, and we're going to go over to business profile. So when you are speaking to a client and you making sure that you're gathering as much information about this as possible, you need to speak to these guys and get all of their details, whether that's a business EIN, their corporate registration number, legal business name, anything like that has to be one-to-one with their official documentation. So the best way to kind of do this is to send them an onboarding form. And the onboarding form, will consist of all the different questions that you need. Let's just go here. So this is what is included in the Gumroad package. So it just has everything that you can have for a template. You can send it out to a client, no questions asked. So once all of this information is filled in, it's pivotal that everything is done. So you need to do the general information, business physical address, authorized representative, and business information on the left-hand side. The next thing to do is to connect the domain. So we need to connect the domain to the funnels and the websites that the snapshot has pulled in. So we're going to go down here to settings, we're going to go over to domains, and we're going to link the domain. So two things here. If you've got a tricky client and someone that is not very techy and has set up a domain one time before, the best thing to do is to buy them a domain with a very similar name. So for example, if this is A2P template.com, we would get them A2P template.com. So that way we have control of the domain. We can quickly just build this out for the purpose of this template, submit the DNS records on the day, then we can submit the application. It's a quicker process. Otherwise, you will be sitting down with your client, figuring out the A2P funnel and the website DNS records needed for them to go live, which can be a little bit temperamental and can, prolong the whole experience. Okay. Perfect. So we've linked the domains are active. What do we do now? So we need to link them to the funnels and the website. So we're going to head over to the funnel section, and this will be already populated for you. And what this is basically is the info, the terms and conditions, and the privacy agreement that has to follow the compliance laws set for this SMS application. So we're going to head over to settings and link a domain, and that should be linked for you. You should just be able to just chuck that in there, no problem. So the next thing that I want you to do is just make sure that you keep track of these terms and conditions. So when you go live on a domain, you've accessed the domain, it has now an active URL. This will show in this category here, just right here. So when this is public and live, I want you to copy this URL, and I want you to copy the URL for the terms and conditions and the privacy as well. Because the next thing we're going to do is going to add them to the custom values. So we're going to head down to settings, we're going to head to custom values, and what we're going to do is the privacy policy URL. We are going to go into here, edit custom value, and here we are going to enter the URL for the privacy policy. So it'd be www.a2p-template.com/privacy policy. And then we can click update and do the same for terms and conditions. Exactly that. Okay, so we're then going to go over to the website. So this is all linked. We're going to go to the website. We're going to ensure that this is linked as well. So same again, settings, add your domain. You can then add a favicon URL. And the way that you do this is go to media, you add your logo, whatever logo it will be. You right click on that, it will give you a copy link. Then you just put that in there. So then you put that link in there, nice and simple. So what we're going to do is the website is basically templated for you. All you're going to have to do is kind of populate this. So I've used custom fields here that will pull the company information, all the locations and things like this from the business profile. So you can go ahead and just add in your headlines, your subheadings, company information, different kind of benefits of working with you, your service packages, etc. Okay, everything's going to be there. Just take a little bit of time going in, populating this, making it nice and neat. One thing that I would advise for this is, let's say you are working with insurance clients. I would download this snapshot, edit the snapshot to then tailor along to an insurance company. So I would edit this website, tailor it along to, life insurance in the US. And then I would then resave the snapshot for an insurance broker. So you can use this whole snapshot again, copy it, make it your own, make it niche specific, and then just duplicate the process. It's nice and easy. So this will all be done. The privacy policy and the terms and conditions will be updated because we have just used the custom URLs. So they will be here, they will be, the URLs will be here, pulling from the custom values. So that will be nice and easy. And then the contact page is exactly the same. You will have some nice little catchphrase. You can put a logo here as well, whatever. But on the right hand side, you will have the A2P general opt-in form that we've created that will pull in your business location and things like that. The next thing that we're going to do is just double check that it pulls in the privacy and terms and conditions, which it should do. And the way that we can check this is just clicking this box down here, highlight one of these, go over to here, click the link button, and it should be the custom values for the URL. So that's nice and easy. We can click save, come back out of that, come back out of this. The next thing that I want you to do is just go back to the home page and populate the SEO data. So populate the whole page and populate the SEO. Give it some titles, give it a description, give it a keyword list, and write the name of the client as your author. Nice and simple. So that is everything we need to do in terms of setting up, the back-end system. So, the websites, the compliance forms, the consent boxes with the SMS on the contacts page. What we're going to do now is we're going to then buy a phone number for your client. So like I said, with the onboarding form, you're going to have a specific city, state, province that they're working in. It's pivotal that we match up the phone number that we buy for that state. So let's say, for example, if they're in Florida, we want to find a Florida one, and if they're in a different state, we want to make sure that the states match. So, for this purpose, I'm not going to buy one, but the main thing here is it has to be a local number and it cannot be a toll-free number. So you are only working with mobile numbers under local jurisdiction. Nice and simple. Okay. So last check before we submit anything about A2P is just go back into the business profile, make sure that everything is filled out correctly. Sometimes it doesn't save, it duplicates certain things, and it looks a bit, it doesn't load in properly. So you just want to make sure that it, it's pulling in all the information exactly how it should. Okay, so we're headed over to the phone number category on the settings here, and we are now looking at the A2P itself. So the Trust Center button up here will then take you to the A2P messaging, and you want to hit start registering now. So remember, this will cost you about $20, $25, depending on how many times you want to push it through. If you get a fail, it will kind of tally up quite a lot. Some people, when we've submitted, have ranged between $50 to $75, where it took us a few attempts to get it done. But if you follow this guide as best as you can, I've not had a problem now for a few weeks since following this template, so we should be good to go. So when you get onto the A2P registration, you want to make sure that you've got all of your details. So if you click yes, I'm a registered business, I have a tax ID, all of this information should be self-populated from the business profile. So go back in, double check that it is, and then from there you can make sure that you don't have any mistakes or anything like that. So this is what it will then look like. It will go through into the campaign details. And then this is where we need to provide user case descriptions, sample messages, and things like this. The number one key metric for me here in this ordeal is the importance of saying stop to subscribe. So the more we say that, you know, in every text message, the kind of better understanding that the system knows that we are allowing these people to opt in and out. And you can follow these examples over on the right, just so you can get an idea of, you know, what is needed to pass all of these. However, if you do buy the product that was linked in the description, I do send you a full use case guide where you can just drag and drop the different URLs, the numbers, the client service, the company names, all of this stuff in terms of the use cases, as well as some SEO. So yeah, once that is all done, you can apply. You can go through, double check all of this, tick through, and then the user consent is just the next version as well. So once that is done, you need to check back onto this position after 24 hours. And the reason is, once you submit the A2P, this is going to say processing, this is going to say processing, and what happens is this usually takes 24 to 48 hours to be approved. And then what happens is once it's approved, you then have to go back on and then reapply for the campaign. So it's like a step process. So just keep an eye on this once you do kind of apply for the brand. I've had some done in, you know, 6 to 12 hours before. I've had some that have taken 48 hours. So it just means just, you know, keeping track of it. So yeah, that is everything on the A2P. You know, check everything that is submitted before you spend the money. I've done that mistake myself. Double check with your client the business EIN, you know, the registered address. Things like this is really important to make sure that there's no errors. But yeah, everything is in the link in the description, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Thank you.